Hi everyone, I'm finally back to this channel to keep our video series going. It's been a while since I record anything. I'm actually embarrassed about it. But now I'm back and the video quality it's not be the best because I'm using my computer's webcam, but we're gonna make it work. Today we dive into Judges chapter 6, the story of Gideon. Since this is a pretty long story, we're going to break it down into parts. This morning, we're talking about the Midianites and the Israel's enemies. So, the word says in Judges 6, chapter 6, the word says, again, the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord, and for 7 years he gave them into the hands of the Midianites. Because the power of Midian was so oppressive, the Israelites prepared shelters for themselves in mountain clefts, caves, and strongholds. Whenever the Israelites planted the crops, Midianites, Amalekites, and other eastern people invaded the country. They camped on the land and ruined the crops all the way to Gaza, and didn't spare a living thing for Israel, neither sheep, nor cattle, nor donkeys. They came up with the livestock and their tents like swarms of locusts. It was impossible to count the men and the camels. They invaded the land to ravage it. Midian was so impoverished. Guys, difficult word. The Israelites that they cried out to the Lord for help. Some words are so difficult to me. Oh my God. Notice how verse 1 starts with the word again. In other words, Israelites' behavior was a recurring pattern. This hardship they were living, the fact that the Lord handed them over to the enemies didn't just happen out of nowhere. God is so merciful. If those people had just changed their ways, repented, turned back to Him, I'm certain the Lord would have restored them, but they just kept walking away from Him, over and over, following their own paths. So, for 7 years, they just suffered at the hands of the enemies. And let me tell you, what they experienced wasn't pleasant. They stepped out from under God's care, from His loving hands, and had to face the cruelty of enemies who had zero mercy. And the cruelty was so bad that the Israelites had to hide anywhere they could find a bit of safety. But think about, they were hiding in their own land, in their own home. It's heartbreaking to think about it because they were hiding in their own home. Think about it. The enemies consumed everything the Israelites worked for. They just invaded and destroyed. They didn't leave a single living thing in Israel. No sheep, no cattle, nothing. Look at how the Bible compares the Midianites to a swarm of locusts. Locusts. Just like locusts devour a whole field, these enemies act like these insects, coming in only to destroy and devastate it. The verse 6 shows us the result: misery, devastation, poverty. It's a scene of complete sadness, frustration, and anger. But as cruel as the situation was, it actually brought about something positive, because you might think, how can you say that? The people were devastated. The people uh, were the people were destroyed. The people were destroyed, but these people who were far from the Lord were now starting to draw close again because of something called suffering. Sometimes there's nothing like a difficult season to bring people back to the Lord and make them cry out to Him. You know, nothing is more important than, than our communion and relationship with the Lord. The people walked away, but instead of just letting them be destroyed, the Lord squeezed them so they would turn back to Him with a sincere heart and recognize their total dependence on Him. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the Israelites did what was wrong, and God handed them over to the Midianites. The Midianite rule brought destruction and oppression, leaving Israel broken. But in the middle of the struggle, Israel finally turned back to the Lord. It's so important to pay attention right now, because this first part, we understand the enemy's power to oppress and how we can be careful and never leave the protection we only find in God and in obeying His word. So guys, this video was so difficult to me because these words that I don't know, I don't know how 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 can I pronunciate? How can I pronunciate that? I don't know. I don't know. But that's is our video for today. That's it for today. God keep blessing you, and I'll see you in the next video.